Manipulation doesn't announce itself. It walks in quietly, sits on your couch, and pretends it belongs there. The first tactic is simple. Control attention without asking for it. Most people think manipulation starts with lies. It doesn't. It starts with predictability. If someone can predict what you'll do next, they don't need to argue with you. They just guide you. Here's the twist. The easiest person to manipulate isn't the weakest. It's the one who thinks they're immune. Ego makes you loud. Manipulation makes you listen. Watch carefully. Nobody pulls strings by force. They pull by reaction. If they know what makes you anxious, curious, jealous, competitive, or protective, you're already halfway trained. All they're doing is pressing buttons. The irony? Most manipulators don't start as villains. They start as observers. They study you casually. What makes you chase? What makes you hesitate? What makes you brag? Then they weaponize it. One of the oldest tactics is withholding. Not love, not affection, clarity. Clarity makes people calm. Confusion makes people chase. And chasing is leverage. Here's where it gets funny, in a slightly fucked up way. People fall for manipulation because it feels flattering at first. Someone pays attention to your patterns. You mistake it for interest. It was actually reconnaissance. Women do it. Men do it. Friends do it. Bosses damn near get paid for it. But the method stays the same. Understand, desire gives control. Perception gives dictate behavior. The second tactic is reframing. Most people think arguments are won through points. Wrong. Arguments are won through frames. If someone convinces you the topic is something else entirely, you start defending yourself inside their rules. That's manipulation at its cleanest. Not forcing compliance, but limiting options until compliance feels voluntary. Pay attention to timing. Timing is the third tactic. If someone knows when to go silent, when to compliment you, when to disagree, when to withdraw, they don't need to convince you directly. They make you convince yourself. There's a reason manipulators rarely raise their voice. Silence is cheaper. Silence makes you fill in the blanks. And whatever you fill in automatically feels true because it came from your own head. Here's the part most people never admit. Manipulation works because it aligns with ego, not against it. Nobody controls you by reminding you you're weak. They control you by making you feel chosen, smart, unique, or needed. If you want to see manipulation clearly, don't look at what someone says. Look at what they reward. That's where the real story is. People assume manipulation breeds from cruelty. Wrong again. It breeds from insecurity. Specifically, the insecurity of losing control. Most manipulators aren't trying to hurt you. They're trying to protect a position. Control is safer than vulnerability. Power is safer than uncertainty. Distance is safer than disappointment. The fourth tactic is scarcity. Nothing drives value like the feeling that something could disappear. Marketers use it. Casinos master it. People weaponize it in relationships without even realizing it. Scarcity turns attention into currency. Suddenly, every text delay has meaning. Every compliment feels earned. Every argument feels high stakes. Here's the fucked up part. Scarcity doesn't need to be real. It just needs to feel real. Perception does more damage than reality ever could. The fifth tactic is ambiguity. Ambiguity is when someone says something that could mean two things, then acts shocked you chose the wrong one. It's a linguistic trap. You interpret. They deny. You apologize. At scale. Ambiguity conditions you to watch your words while they get to watch your reactions. That's leverage. The sixth tactic is future faking. People talk about future plans to secure present benefits. It's not always malicious, but it's almost always strategic. Once you imagine a future, you start investing emotionally. And once you invest, you tolerate more bullshit than you should. Future faking isn't about the future. It's about buying time in the present. The seventh tactic is selective honesty. Tell one brutal truth and 10 small lies disappear into the scenery. Confession creates credibility. Credibility creates permission. Permission creates blind spots. Watch this dynamic with attention. People don't trust honesty because it's righteous. They trust honesty because it's rare. Selective honesty turns rarity into power. Now let's talk about why the male audience feels this content harder. Men are trained to be providers of certainty, clarity, and plans. So when someone manipulates them with scarcity, ambiguity, or future faking, it hits directly at their instinct to stabilize the situation. That's why men chase, not for validation, for resolution. And here's the final twist for part 2. Manipulators don't want to win the situation. They want to own the pace. Pace determines behavior. Behavior determines outcomes. Whoever controls the pace controls the narrative. Slow responses, delayed apologies, sudden warmth, well-timed silence. These aren't mistakes. They're metronomes. Manipulation doesn't need force. It just needs rhythm. Next part goes deeper into the final tactics, plus the uncomfortable answer to the real question. If manipulation works so well, what stops you from using it? By now you've noticed something. Manipulation isn't chaotic. It's structured, almost elegant. But we haven't touched the last 3 tactics, the ones that separate amateurs from professionals. The 8th tactic is mirroring, not the cute communication trick therapists talk about. The darker version, the version where someone subtly copies your values, your preferences, your fears, and your worldview, not to bond with you, but to study you. Mirroring creates compatibility without compatibility existing. Instant trust, instant chemistry, instant vulnerability. You thought you found someone who gets you. What you actually found was someone who listened better than most people do. In a loud world, listening is power. The 9th tactic is emotional displacement. It sounds complicated, but it's simple. If someone can make you feel the wrong emotion at the right time, they control your reaction. For example, you confront them about deception. They make you feel guilty for being suspicious. You bring up inconsistency. They act offended you doubted them. Notice the trick. You're no longer defending your point. You're defending your character. That's manipulation at its peak efficiency. The fight moved, but you didn't notice. The 10th tactic is withdrawal as punishment. Not yelling, not arguing, just absence. Absence forces introspection. Introspection turns into self-blame. Self-blame turns into reconciliation. And reconciliation is cheaper when you think you caused the problem. Withdrawal is clean because it's plausible. No villain. No evidence, just distance. Now here's the part almost nobody admits. Sometimes manipulation works because it gives people relief. Clarity is heavy. Responsibility is exhausting. Accountability requires courage. Manipulation gives you shortcuts. Shortcuts to affection, shortcuts to validation, shortcuts to power. And shortcuts are addictive. Now for the uncomfortable question from part 2. If manipulation works so well, what stops you from using it? The honest answer: nothing. Everyone manipulates a little. The real difference is intent. Some manipulate to avoid pain. Some manipulate to gain power. A few manipulate because chaos makes them feel alive. But the darkest manipulators aren't the ones who break people. They're the ones who convince people to break themselves. Because once someone self-destructs on your timeline, you don't have to do much else. The work is done. Here's the final twist. Most people don't escape manipulation by becoming stronger. They escape by becoming aware. Awareness ruins tactics. It exposes pacing. It kills scarcity. It rejects ambiguity. It laughs at future faking. It doesn't chase answers. It changes the pace. And like I said earlier, whoever controls the pace controls everything.